So recently I saw a bit of a controversial video by Invader, 10 most useless cards in Clash Royale. And I thought, good idea. But instead of making a 10 most useless, I'm going to make a 10 most useful cards in the game. Now, these aren't necessarily the strongest cards in the game, they are just cards with most staying power. Cards that you can invest in now and that are going to last throughout the multiple metas. And at number 10, we have the cannon. And the reason I picked cannon over other buildings, and I wanted to put at least one building in this list, and the reason I chose it over other buildings is because of its cheap cost. And even if they nerf cannon, even if it drops down and doesn't do as much of a damage or isn't as healthy, it's always going to have that utility of pulling cards to it at a fairly cheap cost. While other buildings may come in and out of meta and might be strong at one point of time, Inferno Tower might pop off and do a lot of damage and stop everything. They're going to eventually run their time out. Eventually they're going to get nerfed. Eventually they're going to be slowed down by the high elixir cost. And Cannon, even if it's nerfed, it's always going to have its cheap cost going for it. It's always something you're going to be able to fit in a lot of decks, and it will add a level of versatility to it. At number 9, we have the Archer Queen. And I wanted to put one hero unit in this list, and Archer Queen is the best candidate for this. And even though Archer Queen may get nerfed in the future, she's always going to have utility of her ability going for her. It's just a one-cost ability, it's fairly cheap among the cheaper ability costs, and it's almost always get value. For other abilities, you have Goblinstein, you have Monk, who need specific circumstances for them to get value. For Archer Queen, you don't need anything special, you just need a target. And as long as you have the target, you will almost always get value with her. She will almost always avoid being attacked while attacking the other unit. The only way to get over this is with a tornado, something, or I guess snowball, something to knock her back in her ability. But if you're smart with it, she's going to get more value than most of the time than almost any other hero, and she's going to be a lot less susceptible to balance changes. At number 8, we have the Miner. And the reason I put Miner in this list is because I think he's too versatile to be useless. He just got nerfed recently, and I think he's still going to be a useful win condition to build around, because there's too many support cards for Miner to be useless. You have Bats. If they get nerfed in the future, maybe sometimes in the future, minions might come back in the meta. Spear Goblins recently got nerfed, but you could still use Goblin Gang. You could use Wall Breakers. You could use Skarmy. If you want a range unit, you could use Archers or Dart Goblin. Even something like a Berserker could get used. Basically, any low-cost, high damage output, low health unit is going to work well with Miner, because even if they nerf his damage, as long as he's decently healthy, he's going to be functioning tank for a cheap units you can play and provide an offensive threat at almost all times. At number 7, we have the Valkyrie, and she's just always a solid tank. I don't think I've seen a single meta when Valkyrie was completely useless. You're always going to have at least some swarm cards in meta, and she's always going to be useful against those. And even in metas that are dominated by a bit more heavy units, she's a solid tank, so you're almost always going to get value from her. At number 6, we have the Fireball. And Fireball has been a big spell that has stayed the most consistent for the longest time. If you want to have a big spell to level up, it has to be a Fireball. Fireball has seen the least amount of fluctuation from all the big spells. It might get nerfed. I don't think it's ever going to get to a point where it's completely trash for extended period of time. At number 5, we have the Hog Rider. It's just the most consistent win condition since this game has started. And the reason, similar to Miner, is because of how many good support cards for Hog Rider there is, and how versatile Hog Rider truly is. Of course, one of the oldest, the most consistent decks throughout the many metas has been 2.6, but even if 2.6 gets worse, you could play Hog Rider with Earthquake. You have Hog Rider with bridge spam, Hog Rider with different kind of bait. It's just extremely versatile card that's unlikely to get to a point in a meta where there's nothing you can do with it. At number 4, we have a Knight. And Knight is just a card that's been solid for the longest amount of time. If you need a mini tank, Knight is there to do it. And it's not really ever broken, and it's not real, well, not, almost never. It's not really in need of a major nerf. And I don't think it's going to get a nerf for a long period to come. Because it's not oppressive, it's just a versatile mini tank that fits in a lot of decks. At number 3, to nobody's surprise, we have arrows. Arrows have been a useful spell in these games from the start. You need some sort of a high damage dealer, like a firecracker or dart goblin removed from the enemy side, you play arrows. You need a swarm card removed, you play arrows. Even when enemies tower is at low health and you want to chip it up even further, it even does a decent damage to Princess Tower, and it can be used to finish off the game. Arrows is too versatile, it has too many uses, and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. This might be a controversial pick, but for my number 2 spot, I'm choosing Skeletons. Yes, even over the arrows. Skeletons get so much value in so many situations. And honestly, I think that they are nerf proof. For spirits, you can nerf spirits. You can nerf, and it's been done before, you can nerf the amount of damage fire spirit does. You can nerf the slowdown duration of ice spirit. You can do things with them, how much damage they do. For skeletons, how do you nerf skeletons? The only way I see you could nerf skeletons if you reduce the amount of skeletons there are, and I don't think that Supercell is doing that. It would kill the card. Otherwise, skeletons get so much value in so many situations. Princess charging, play skeletons. Boss bandit, same thing. You have a Pekka problem, you play skeletons. It can completely counter things like mini Pekka, things like, as you see here, Musketeer. Even expensive cards like Sparky are vulnerable to skeletons. They are so cheap, they are so versatile, they fit in so many decks, and I don't think you can nerf them. If you nerf how much health they have, they already died to everything. If you nerf how much damage they do, you're not really playing them as some sort of a heavy damage dealer. You're playing them just as a cheap distraction, and I think that's always going to have a place in meta. And at number 1, we have the Log. Are you surprised? You shouldn't be. Even though Log got nerfed recently, it honestly didn't do much. It got nerfed for free to play and low spenders. It still gets so much value, and it's still so heavily played at the top ladder. And it's going to continue to get value because of how many aspects of the Log are so strong. Log used to do significant amount of damage to the towers, and you can use it to chip up tower and finish off the game. But even with that nerf, it has such a significantly long width. You can hit many units with it. It's so long, you can place Log at your tower, and it's going to clear out the whole lane. It helps clear so many small units. It's great against bait, it's great against bridge spam, and for some reason, it's the only card that can knock back literally anything. It's the only card that can knock back the golem. And I don't think they're going to nerf it. I don't know why it's that way, but it's been that way for the longest time, and I don't think it's going to get changed. And as long as it doesn't get changed, the Log will always get the value. It's so cheap, its knockback is so strong, its damage is decent, and Log is going to continue to be a staple part of the game, and it's the best card to invest in if you want a long-term value, in my opinion. That's going to be it. Like, subscribe, share, follow me on Twitter, and I'll see you in the next one.
I'll be seeking for the glory. Say my name.